Maybe the adrenaline from being relied on more toward the end of the season, because when they really were had enough with Clay Holmes, Luke Weaver had to step into that role and did
Yeah.
a bang up job. And this year, as you said, with Devin Williams, he's not going to have that same pressure.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKee. And Brian, there you are.
Stacey, another day closer to, well, technically the season's already started, by the way.
Yes.
Dodgers already want to know.
Yes, let's talk about that in a moment. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. On today's show, we'll tell you how the Yankees did against the Red Sox on Tuesday, who stood out, who didn't. Apparently, the Yankees are surprised, meaning the team are surprised that Alex Verdugo is still available, but should they be surprised? We're going to discuss that in segment 2. But first, should we be concerned about Luke Weaver's velocity drop in spring training?
Yeah, so it's become a little bit of a talking point. I don't know how concerned I'd be, just because he started last year off like this. If you guys, well, I mean, no one really would remember because he wasn't really a storyline in the first half of the year last year, but he wasn't throwing hard at the start of last year. And then after the All-Star break and then more into August, he started throwing with the higher velo that he was accustomed to. Also, Luke Weaver is kind of a hybrid where he can beat you with velocity, but also has really good location and movement on his ball. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. He's not a pure power pitcher. I think it was a lot bigger of a deal when it was a guy like Aroldis Chapman, who, you know, he's trying to strike you out on catch up to my fastball, I dare you. Luke Weaver's not doing that. Now, he's got velocity on his fastball, but he's not daring you to hit his fastball. So it's a little bit of a difference there. I wouldn't be overly concerned if this lasts into the midpoint of the season, maybe a little bit, but, you know, just be grateful that you got Devin Williams at this point.
Exactly. And as you said, same thing last year. We didn't really know who Luke Weaver was last year at this point. So, and as you said, once the summer really kicked in, his velocity spiked. He was throwing in the 95, 96 range with regularity, but also spiking higher than that. I think it was also maybe the adrenaline from being relied on more toward the end of the season, because when they really were had enough with Clay Holmes, Luke Weaver had to step into that role and did a bang up job. And this year, as you said, with Devin Williams, he's not going to have that same pressure. And maybe he will be okay not throwing as hard because he's not going to come into the 9th inning every day. Like, there might be some days where Devin Williams obviously gets a spell because you're not going to expect to see him in every game, and the Yankees might not be up in every game. And you might see Luke Weaver at the end of a game, but I'm not concerned either if he started out this way. He seemed fine in the couple of outings that I saw with him. It's not like he's giving up home run after home run, and it's not like he's looking terrible. He's just not being a flamethrower right now, and that's perfectly fine. Plus, you know, maybe he just needs time to warm up.
And I don't fully disagree with you either. It might have been the adrenaline of coming into the 9th inning, you know, something he had never done in his career. Remember, he'd never been a closer. He came in as a starter, I believe, into the major leagues. So he never came in as a closer. He wasn't a closer throughout his entire career, including the minor leagues. So he hadn't experienced that level of, you know, excitement before. And he didn't start closing until midway through the year. The job wasn't his until midway through the year. Well, maybe even 3/4 of the year, if you want to count, until Clay Holmes was officially removed from that spot. So it took a lot of us yelling about it to finally get it done. But, you know, that there's a thing to that. Guys have a little more velocity when there's a little more, you know, of a pressure-packed moment coming through. So that could have had something to do with it too. I'm not overly concerned with Luke Weaver right now. I wouldn't be overly concerned with anybody who is a regular major leaguer at this point in spring training. I just wouldn't. If their average is low, that I know it was a talking point with Aaron Judge for a while, that his average was low. I really wouldn't be concerned at this point. If you don't believe that Aaron Judge is going to turn it around, or any major league player isn't going to turn it around at this point, I'm really not sure what I can do to help you. Again, a lot of people and a lot of players have cited that spring training is their time to work on things, to correct things, to fine-tune things, to get themselves ready for the regular season. They're not counting it as regular season games. That's why you see the Yankees playing 2 games in one day, and that's why you see in 2 different locations, and that's why you see regular major leaguers, playing for 3 innings and then leaving the game and then going to play a simulated game out back right after they get off the field. It's not the same thing. They look at it as a giant practice session. So you can't really view this when these guys struggle as Aaron Judge is not showing up to the ballpark at the same time. He is not going through the same pregame routine. He is not eating the same pregame meals even probably. He is trying new things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, trying to fine-tune things so he's ready for opening day. So I wouldn't take any of the things these guys are doing right now as serious as you want to take, as a lot of people want to take them.
Right. We were having a discussion. Let's pull the curtain back. We have our weekly meeting. It's going to be on Tuesdays now, and there weren't that many of us in the meeting. It was just me and 2 other hosts plus our channel manager. And we were talking about spring training and saying how spring training is too long for hitters and possibly not long enough for pitchers. Pitchers need more time to get ready for spring training, obviously, which is why they report to camp earlier than hitters. But it almost feels like hitters still arrive too early. It almost feels like the pitchers need a 2-week head start ahead of the hitters in spring training.
I'd agree. And what's funny too is it's for the hitters, at least, it's almost become this, you have to show up early because it looks good. It looks like a leadership move or whatever it is, right? Like Aaron Judge is showing up February 20th because it looks good because he's the captain and he should be there. But I don't know what Aaron Judge is really doing in that first week or 2 other than like stretching and going through physicals and all that kind of stuff. I don't think he's like picking up a bat yet necessarily, or maybe he is, but for a few light cuts. I don't think he's going through his full workouts yet. So baseball has by far the weirdest structure when it comes to their preseason because the pitching position and the hitting position is so vastly different that there really is no way of preparing at an optimal rate. Like basketball, they play each other in training camp. So you're getting right. You're all getting right at the same pace. Hockey's the exact same way. Football's training camp. So you're going up against each other. Baseball doesn't necessarily work that way. You need to play another team. So it really is this, they've been trying to fine tune it for years and years. And like you've said a bunch of times, spring training for the first 3/4 of the last century was used for fat guys to get back in shape. Because in the offseason, all they were doing was eating hot dogs and smoking cigars and drinking beer. And they gained a little bit of ready to play baseball. It's not looked at that anymore. These guys don't drink beer ever. These guys don't eat hot dogs ever. They don't smoke cigars ever. They are finely tuned with their body at all moments now. So it's a completely differently structured thing. And, I don't know if they've got it down to a fine science of pitchers yet. Some guys come into the league and just start like crazy. There's some hitters who would have great spring trainings and then notoriously get off to terrible regular season starts at Mark Teixeira. So I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think baseball does either, to be quite honest with you.
Right. Speaking of pitchers in spring training, let's get back to that. Yendrys Gomez with his manicured beard and Yerry De Los Santos are both impressing the Yankees this spring. Gomez has 9 scoreless innings so far. He has no options left, so he'll have to make the roster. Otherwise
he's gone.
They'll lose him. De Los Santos is pitching to a 2.45 ERA. He's also been working on a new splitter. He started it last year in AAA. Minor league pitching coach Gerardo Casadiego helped him with the splitter, but he's refining it in spring training, and it seems to be working for him. He's already on the 40-man, but this could be good for the Yankees having these 2 guys fill in for the other guys who are coming back from injuries if they're not ready in time for opening day.
Yeah, and you let these guys kind of figure themselves out, right, and play their way onto the roster. Just because they make the roster on opening day, they could be filling in for a player who's not necessarily going to be ready yet. One that comes to mind is Mark Leiter Jr., who we don't know if he's going to be ready for opening day. Even if he physically is ready for opening day, they might not have him on the roster because he might need a week or 2 just to fine-tune his pitching because he hasn't pitched in a while now. So there are a couple of bullpen arms they're going to be missing at the start of the season. this gives these guys an opportunity to get in there. I'm sure they'll get a few appearances and see who they like the most. It's going to be interesting because bullpen arms feel like the kind of thing that you can never have too much of, especially out of the bullpen. So, I wonder who I right now, I kind of expect both of them to make the roster, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll bring Gomez along. And it's not even just Mark Leiter Jr. and Ian Hamilton who are behind. Jonathan Loaizaga also. They're not expecting him back until April because he's still coming back from his injury. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of spots that are going to be available. And these guys are going to have the chance to prove themselves. So we'll see if they're going to be able to. But, the chance is going to be open for them. That's for sure.
Yep. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, the Yankees are surprised that former teammate Alex Verdugo is still available. We'll tell you what some of them said, and we'll discuss whether or not they should be surprised next.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with the complete inventory of over 200,000 parts and from 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for that extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts available on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing better than catching a Major League Baseball game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of the ballpark food. And if you're looking to go last minute, Gametime gives getting tickets easier than ever. With last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the stress out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as the game time gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and the Major League Baseball season is coming up, so I can count on them to help grab me tickets whenever I need to go. Last season, I grabbed last-minute tickets for a game, and Gametime had unbeatable prices, which meant more money for food and merch. The Gametime Picks feature makes finding the best deals effortless. It filters out the fluff and highlights the top discounts in the stadium. And I love that I can preview my seat before purchasing it. There's no bad surprises when I get to the stadium. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Remember that every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Those fans get top priority during Fan Mail Friday, or you can comment underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday. The link is in our description. Stacey, I gotta be honest with you. So we do this show every single night, Locked On Yankees, and I have a regular office 9-to-5 job, right? You used to work at NBC for a while, and you had a regular office 9-to-5 job. A lot of people out there have regular office 9-to-5 jobs, and almost a 0% of those people can perform at their jobs at an 18% clip and still keep their job. Alex Verdugo managed to do that last year, especially in the second half of the season. And for some reason, every member of the New York Yankees is befuddled and shocked that Alex Verdugo has not found a job yet. Elaborate, please.
Oh, this was so great. I didn't even know that this was happening. I noticed it this morning. The Athletic posted on Blue Sky, and someone, quote, posted it and was like, are they serious? And I said, oh no, what is this about? And I opened it up. And the main crux of the article is the fact that all of his former teammates cannot believe that Alex Verdugo remains unsigned as of March 18th when the article came out. There are a lot of quotes from these guys, and the way they make it sound like he was the MVP of the team last year, did so many good things. Like it was like, were we watching the same Alex Verdugo as these guys? Because the glowing praise for him was over the top. Like, I understand. It's a different thing when you're in a clubhouse with a guy, you're on a bus with a guy, in the plane with a guy. I get that. But the way they were making him sound as a teammate on the field did not match up what I saw with my bad eyes that have to be aided by glasses.
We all watched him last year, and again, after June, Alex Verdugo hit 180. The fact that he managed to stay in the lineup is insane to me. But he got the same comments from every guy on the team, which is crazy. Judge, Volpe, Aaron Boone. I mean, Boone, I'm not surprised, but
right,
everyone on the team spoke so glowly of the guy. And listen, I get it. If he's a good guy and a good teammate, no one's asking you to kill the guy. No one's asking you to give a terrible review on him and say, oh, I'm not surprised he doesn't have a job. Did you see what he hit last year? No one's saying that. But to sit here and act like you're just amazed and just out of belief that Alex Verdugo has not found a job is just crazy at this point. He was not great in the outfield last year. I'm sorry. I know his reputation is that he's a good outfielder. He wasn't great in the outfield. He wasn't. He was a very, very mediocre outfielder at best. He was not great last year. His hitting was so unbelievably terrible. Not to mention, he never ran out a ground ball. And there were a lot of examples that he gave us last year. Never ran out a ground ball. Never really seemed too frustrated when his at-bats went poorly. And I'm sure he was. I don't know how he expresses his emotions exactly, so I don't want to accuse him of that. But Stacey, I mean, give me a break. This guy was... It's not even like this is a guy who went on a tear in April and May and then had some underlying injury that affected the rest of his season. He wasn't a good player throughout the entire year. He was decent in April and May and then fell off a cliff in late June. Alex Verdugo could not have hit water if he fell off a cruise ship last year in the last 6 months of the season. And for some reason, we're praising him and we're stunned that he hasn't found a job. I mean, the White Sox won't bring him in. The White Sox won't bring him in. So, yeah. I mean, really, let's stop and let's stop asking questions, please. I mean, this is a little... I get giving a guy praise and you don't want to like completely kill a guy. I understand that.
Yeah.
But this is the overwhelming talking about how good Verdugo's been.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, we get it. They're not going to trash him, but it's just the level of praise is too much for what he did last year. And Trent Grisham, I'll give him credit. He said, he was my guy. I love playing with him. I think he's a good player or a great player, really good defender, great hitter, had a little bit of a down year last year.
Sure,
so at least
love it.
That makes sense. But it's just like, Aaron Judge, I'm surprised. He's such a great player. He brings so much value and versatility to a team.
Stop. He's not even a switch hitter where you could say he brings versatility. Like, stop.
Right. Anthony Volpe, very close with Verdugo, apparently. He said he's, I think, the definition of ride or die as a teammate. We got so close. You saw the plays he made in the outfield, running into walls and putting everything out there. He was one of my favorite teammates ever. And I think in so many ways he helped us win games, whether it was on the field or what he could bring to the clubhouse. What's crazy is I think maybe me saying that would be surprising to some people, but I just really appreciate so much what he brought to the club every day.
Yeah, it's surprising to the people that saw him hit 180 in the last 4 months of the season. That's who it's surprising to. He had 2 home runs after the month of June, Stacey, contributing to us winning. Where? What games?
Yeah. Marcus Stroman said, yes, I'm surprised. That's all I'm going to say on it. But there's a lot of things that surprise me in this game nowadays. Just keep it at that. So you don't even want to say
he's
that.
Got to leave it as He's got to leave it as cryptic as possible too. Marcus Stroman's doing that. So
and then Boone, maybe just a little surprised because he's without question a big league player and a big league starting player for me. It just probably hasn't lined up money wise and team wise and need wise. But he was great with us.
money wise is the crazy quote. And I mean, Aaron Boone is off his rocker anyway when it comes to talking about players. He'll never say a bad word about anybody.
Was he great with you? Like, did I watch a different Alex Verdugo?
Was he a starting caliber player for you ever? I mean, give me a break.
Not after June.
And I love how it didn't line up. Maybe it hasn't lined up money wise. What could Alex Verdugo legitimately like command more than the veteran minimum at this point? I mean, after how he played last year, what could he command? Anything more than $1 million a year would be an absurd salary to ask for. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
I get it. He was clearly he's a good clubhouse personality. Clearly he's very liked in the clubhouse, and I'm not arguing against that. That is totally fine. But Stacey, let's take a giant step back when we talk about how good of a player he is. He could be a great guy in the clubhouse. I'm sure you could put me in there and they'd love me. But like, I'm not going to hit a baseball all year. Like we don't have to be making these comments throughout the year. And this was just,
the praise they were giving him is the kind of praise that people give Aaron Judge when they talk about
exactly. Like you don't have to give everyone the utmost praise because they're a great guy. You can talk about how they're a great guy and say, I think he should be in the major leagues, but to give him this praise as if he contributed to their World Series run last year, he was on the field because they didn't have a left fielder.
Yeah, because they refused to call up Jason Dominguez and do anything with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I gave up.
I just thought it was funny. I as soon as I saw it, I was like, thank you for giving us this fodder to talk about on the show. We appreciate it.
Right.
Because weren't we talking about how this is the doldrums of spring training until like rosters are really shaped? We don't really have anything to talk about. Thank you, The Athletic. Thank you for talking to the Yankees about Alex Verdugo. We really appreciate it. Coming up, how did the Yankees do against the Red Sox? Two of Verdugo's former teams. We'll tell you what you need to know next.
Hey guys, listen up. When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. And that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine. It's all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper. He trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and his recovery. By the way, they sent me a package too. I trust it too. So, I mean, that's two MVP quality. Between me and Bryce Harper, we have two combined MVPs. Think about it that way. I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes wholesome, nourishing ingredients without the artificial junk. So whether you're recovering after a workout or need an energy boost, their grass-fed whey protein is pre-workout delivers real results. So visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. And for more wellness tips, just follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. So, Stacey, curious question. Well, before we get into Alex Verdugo's last two major league teams, the Yankees and the Red Sox, if Aaron Boone knows that Alex Verdugo is a starting player that can contribute to a team making the World Series and is a major leaguer right now, and the money wouldn't come in too expensive, why have the Yankees brought him in?
Right.
If we've been admitted by the organization, Hal has told us, Aaron Boone has told us that Aaron Judge has input when it comes to who they bring in, and they are really good buddies, and Aaron Judge knows that Verdugo is a winning player in this league. Where's Verdugo's jersey?
Right. Yeah. Right now he's in Arizona. He's training according to Volpe, and he's getting ready in case the team needs him. So
can't wait. So Max Fried made his potentially last start of spring. I don't know if they announced that officially yet. But he started against the Red Sox today, went 4 1/3 with 2 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks. It looks like Max Fried is ready to go for the regular season.
Yeah, and Joe Torre took him out of the game, which had to be
so cool.
Yeah.
For both.
Yeah.
How old is Joe Torre now? Is he in his 80s? He's definitely over 80, right?
He's 84. Yeah.
Wow.
84 years old. They mentioned it on the broadcast, if I'm not mistaken. And he looks good.
Hey,
walks good.
Unbelievable. He does. No, he does.
He walks better than I do, and I'm a whole 34 years younger than him, but my knees have been dead since I was 13, so I'll always
It's all that Bigelow tea.
Yes, I think the Bigelow tea has really helped him out. Walker Buehler shut the Yankees down for the first 3 full innings, and then Judge got to him with a double. Bellinger drove in Judge with a single. Volpe hit an RBI single. The game ended at a 4-4 tie, but Judge looked good on that double. You know, I believe he struck out in the first at bat, and then he hit that double against Buehler, and it looked like it was going to be a home run at first, but it hit the bottom of the wall, just left of center field in Steinbrenner Field. But when he hit it, it had the sound, and you heard the people in the crowd go, "Whoa!" Yeah, and Bellinger keeps hitting. I mean, my God,
he's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been good. Again, it's spring training, I know, but it seems like they can never get him out. And they had Escara as the DH today. Wells led off and was catching, and Peraza was at third base today. So they're, figuring things out when it comes to.
I wish there'd be a little more consistency. It does look like Austin Wells is going to be the leadoff hitter. Boone has all but admitted that publicly. So it looks like we could be getting that out of them. The consistency in their play has looked a lot better. I love that Judge is actually hitting the ball at this point. Again, it doesn't mean much to me. He could have been working on things all of spring, but the fact that he's rounding into form as the season's getting ready to start is obviously a really positive sign. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how they round the lineup out, especially with the absence of Giancarlo Stanton. I think he was really going to help tie that lineup together, and there's a hole in the middle of it for sure.
Yeah. So Jazz was the cleanup batter, and he struck out and hit his helmet and ran to first because he knew that strike 3 was a ball, and it was by 2 inches, and the call was reversed, so it was ball 4, and he went to first. But I mean, as soon as the call was made, he turned around, dropped his helmet, dropped his bat, hit his helmet, ran to first, and the ABS popped up, and it was 1.9 inches below the zone, and he got the call.
Bad job out of the umpire for getting it 2 inches off. That's a poor job of a call right there. That's kind of explaining why they want the system in.
But like, he was at first base already. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's been an overall success though, the ABS system. It really has. It's been a success for the players seem to love it. You really, other than the 2 old heads that complained about it when it started, no one's complained about it since. So to me, there's no doubt they're going to add it starting next year. Reminder to everybody, it's not starting this season. Right. It'll be starting next season. If it starts, it'll start next season. I think at this point, it seems very likely that it could.
I think so. I think, it's the same thing with everything. People didn't like the netting. You don't notice the netting. Like, you notice it when you first sit, and then your eyes adjust to it, and it doesn't bother you anymore. The pitch clock. No one notices the pitch clock anymore.
People hated the pitch clock, by the way. People hated the idea of it. And now it's become, A, no one notices it. It's never a talking point. And B, the games are significantly shorter than they ever were. So I'd agree with you. There's a lot of things that happen like this in sports where they make subtle changes and you freak out about it because baseball's been played the same way forever. Stacey, this has been, most of the changes baseball's made over the last few years have been resounding successes. So I don't picture this one not being one.
Oh, and one more thing about the ABS system. Because they have to know how tall a guy truly is for the strike zone, some guys' listed heights have been changed on teams. And for the most part, most guys are an inch shorter than what they're listed. But there have been a couple of guys who are actually an inch taller than what they've been listed. But for the most part, which is how it works in real life as well.
Yeah,
the guys have been lying
more common.
for height.
Nothing more common than men being insecure about their height. Really. I've never lied to my girlfriend once, but you know what? She thinks I'm 5'9", and that's all that matters.
I had someone tell me what did he tell me he was? 6 feet. And I'm 5'9", and I was about a half inch taller than her. And I'm yep, you're definitely 6 feet.
Yep, nothing more common than men being insecure about their height. Even professional athletes who make millions of dollars a year lie about their height.
Yeah. Someone had put up, I think it was the Red Sox. The other day I saw this, and there were, I think, 7 names. 5 of them were shorter than what they were listed, and 2 of them were actually an inch taller. So I just thought, like, Tristan Casas is actually 6'4", not 6'5". Like, there were a few of them. I was like,
well, if you're freakishly tall and you're actually like an inch shorter, no one's gonna lie about that because who cares when you're that tall? Yeah. But it's always the short guys who are gonna say that they're actually taller than they are.
Oh yeah, like Jose Altuve is like, yeah, I'm 5'6". Like, you're 5'4", dude. Like, stop.
Yeah,
we know you're shorter
yeah.
than
I've stood next to him before, and I was taller than him, and I'm 5'6". So I can confirm that one. My driver's license says 5'7" though, because when they asked at the DMV, I told them that.
Yeah.
Swear to God. So
I used to be 5'9.5", and then 15 years of hunching over a laptop has given me laptop neck, and I'm not quite 5'9.5" anymore. I think if I start doing Pilates and stretch myself out, I might be able to get back to 5'9.5".
Get on
We'll
it.
see.
We're waiting for a Pilates sponsor.
Yeah, that'll be my goal for 2025, to get back to 5'9.5". So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast with hosts Dominic Martino and Matthew Ane. MLB fantasy draft season is here. It's happening right now, so be the most informed fan and set yourself up for a league win. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.